So tonight I want to talk to you guys about what we call the shift. It's a term that Priscilla, my wife, and I created, and it's basically making a conscious mental decision that yes, you are going to immediately change your thought process. And let me back up and explain to you guys exactly how this works. So if you are feeling negative, if you are feeling like your spouse, your wife, your partner, your friend, your family member, whoever it might be, has done something to you, is in some sort of funk and they're affecting you or whatever it is, you're blaming them for your problem and for the way that you feel. This is when you would apply this, because most of us tend to blame people when something goes wrong. Most of us tend to blame something else or someone else or some other person for problems in our life. And I've talked about this before. When we can get away from that is when we start progressing in life, when we start leveling up, as so we like to call it. We call it leveling up, achievement unlocked. If we can shift the blame and realize that we are in control, you are in control, is what I'm saying. You control your life. And if what I've said before, if you were the creator, you were the controller of your own destiny, and you pick your life path, would you rather continue throughout your day and start spiraling downward because you're angry or you're upset and just start watching other negative things happen to you? Or would you rather be happy? Would you rather feel good about the day and have good things happen to you? I've talked about this before too. As humans, our molecule, actually everything in life vibrates because molecules vibrate, atoms vibrate, electrons vibrate. There's a vibrational frequency to everything. And science has shown that when you are happier, your vibrational frequency is higher, and when you're negative, it's lower. And so in this kind of esoteric, non-measurable world that we tend to avoid because we're so deep in the real world, as we call it, we forget that these things, these intangible things that we can't see, are actually affecting our lives. If you are negative, you surround yourself with negativity and you're angry all the time, or you're just not feeling good, whatever it may be, and you're blaming somebody else for it, bad things are starting to happen, you guys. I can't quantify this and I can't say for certain, oh yeah, absolutely, this has been proven, but watch, bad things will start to happen to you. I've done it, I've been through it, my wife has, my family has, my friends have, for sure, so we all understand this. If you're happy and you make conscious decisions to be happy, good things start happening to you. Priscilla and I have both noticed that in our life, if her and I are happy together and everybody's happy and vibrating at higher frequencies, amazing stuff happens. The universe opens its doors to you, and you don't have to go kick down doors. I mean, literally, the doors just open, the seas part. You just walk right through into these amazing opportunities in life. Things like, 1, spending time with my family. 2, business opportunities present themselves. Business goes great. Things with family goes great. Things with friends goes great. Just good things continuously happen when you're in the vortex, which is a whole nother subject we'll talk about some other time. But when you're in and everything's flowing right, everything's good. But things can toss you out of the vortex. They will kick you out, or they will help or make you teeter on the edge of that downward spiral where you get up in the morning and you go to, hit your alarm clock, and instead you knock over the glass of water that you left there. That pisses you off. And then as you get up out of bed, you take a shower, you trip over something. And then on the way to work, you get a ticket for speeding. And then your day just, it turns into crap, basically. Well, guess what? You are in control. At any point, you can shift. You can make a conscious decision. And here's what that decision is. The decision is that you are in control. And you can tell your brain, I'm done feeling bad. I'm done having bad things happen to me. I'm done blaming other people. I'm just gonna be happy. 0 given. That's it. I don't care. I am ready to move on and be happy. And so what Priscilla and I do is, if one of us has a different perspective, or maybe both of us has a different perspective on an event that happened that day, it's usually both of us. And I would say for most people, guys, it's usually 2 people with different perspectives on a singular event, and then the events that follow. So your spouse, your friend, your family member, something happened, you guys are pissed at each other for whatever reason, and you let your anger get in the way, and you saw it one way and they saw it the other, and you both think you're right, and you both think the other person should apologize or something, or they should do something to make it rectify the situation. Well, guess what? Screw that. Priscilla and I have this thing where we just go, hey, let's shift. And it's a very careful word track we selected, because a lot of times the other person will say something like, hey, can we shift? Can we just shift? Can we just get this over? Can we shift? That doesn't work, because that's still insinuating blame. A very sincere look in the eyes and let's shift. That alone, guys, will do wonders. And what you have to do when you do this is the other person and you have to agree that at that point, you just wipe the slate clean. The whiteboard is completely erased. There's nothing on there. It's a clean slate. There's no anger. There's no blame. You both go, yeah, screw it. I don't want to be mad anymore. Or what are we even fighting over? Or what was this about? Or maybe you remember what it's about, but you go, it's not worth it. I'll tell you what gets in the way most of the time. It's pride. It is pride that spirals out of control. We both, Priscilla and I, are both guilty of this, where we will understand our pride gets in the way. And when I look at it, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need an apology. I don't need anything. And I'm probably the one being an ass. It's probably not her. And at this point, I don't care. I just want to get back to the way I was with her, where things are great and things are awesome. If we can evolve to that, guys, if you can get that under control and recognize and start noticing these physiological changes in your body, your temperature heats up. You feel your blood start to boil. You start walking around aggressively. You start, your heart will beat a little bit faster. Your pulse will increase. You'll walk by the other person and you won't make eye contact or something. Those are things where if you recognize that, you recognize the patterns. I always call them a cycle. The cycle that you've been in before, you have to break the cycle. If you recognize those patterns and you catch them ahead of time, or as they're happening and you go, oh crap, that's me. Oh, I know this pattern. I don't want to be here. This, I know what happens next. When you start going, I know what happens next. And it's that we get angry at each other and we start fighting. You don't want to be that. Nobody wants to fight. Come on, man. Nobody wants to be pissed off all day long. When you start recognizing that and you can head it off to the past and you grab your friend, your family member, your wife, your husband, and just go, let's shift. And you are both able to take a deep breath and just exhale anything that's holding you back. And you realize that being happy is so much better than being negative and angry. You are going to level up. Like, we call this leveling up, another term that Priscilla and I love. It's like the whole achievement unlock thing in video gaming, It's like, let's level up. When you shift, good things will happen. I challenge you guys to do this too. This is something that Tony Robbins actually said, not the shift, but what I'm about to tell you. It's one of the challenges he issued that we've tried that worked amazing wonders for us, was to take a challenge for 7 days and not let any negativity come to fruition out of your mouth. So what you do is, if a negative thought enters your head, say somebody cuts you off on the freeway, as soon as you start thinking something negative about that person, you take it, you crumple it up, and you throw it out. It's like I tell my daughter, both Priscilla and I tell Mia this all the time. If something bad comes in her head, we're like, hey baby, write it on a piece of paper and in your mind. And then we crumple it up and we just throw it out in the garbage. We don't have time for that. You don't have any room for that. You don't want bad things in your head. So do the same thing. Take control. Make a conscious effort to just take that, as soon as that thought comes in your head and you recognize that you're starting to think negative, throw it out. Think something positive about that person. Change the way you think. Change the way that you are viewing things. And you watch what happens. Watch the changes in your life. Watch the good things start to flow into your life. Again, I can't quantify this for every person. This is the intangible. This is something that science can't explain yet. They're working on it, but they just can't explain it. But I'll tell you what, guys, it's a massive secret to success. And you talk to any successful person about this, about being positive, about positive mental attitudes, positive mental states, about being in the vortex, about being happy. And they're going to tell you exactly what I'm telling you now. I promise you, this is one of the massive, major keys to success. It starts with the little things. It starts with small things happening to you. and then bigger and bigger and better things. And sooner or later, what's gonna happen, guys, is you're gonna find that these little negative things pop in your life and you start accepting them. And you go, oh yeah, it's about breaking that cycle. Remember I was talking about that? And you recognize that. And those little things can kick you out of the vortex and you teeter on the fence, about ready to go down in that downward spiral. But it's up to you. You are the one in control. You are the one that can say, I'm going back in. I'm going back into that vortex where everything's happy. And I'm going feet first and I'm diving in. I'm not falling off this fence. Because that happy attitude is so much better than being negative. You don't want to be an angry person. You don't want to be mad at the world. You don't want to blame anybody. The only person you have to blame for anything in your life is yourself. You're in full control of every single situation. You make a decision every time you open your mouth or you take an action. That is your brain taking action, making the decision. You can control it. You can control what you think. There's so much more to life, and we are all missing it. Wake up and see what you are missing. You just have to try. You just have to commit. You just have to take a moment and try. So, together, let's shift.